other than the fact when he joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in the GOAT conversation because you're not playing this.
For nearly a decade, Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant have been caught in one of basketball's most awkward and personal feuds. It's not about stats or skill, it's about how each man defines true greatness in the game. That debate flared up again in October 2025 when Durant used Netflix's Starting Five documentary to respond to Barkley's famous "bus rider" remark. Durant pushed back with a passionate message, speaking openly about sacrifice, self-respect, and what winning really means to him.
My Mount Rushmore. You have to be a bus driver. You can't be a bus rider. Kevin Durant is still a bus rider until he wins one.
On the surface, this argument shouldn't even be up for debate. Charles Barkley finished his 16-year career without a single championship, while Kevin Durant owns 2 titles and 2 Finals MVP awards. Yet somehow, Barkley keeps winning the court of public opinion, and that clearly frustrates KD. Because this fight has never been just about rings. It's about reputation, competitiveness, and what fans believe it truly means to earn success. Barkley first lit the match in October 2020 during an appearance on The Dan Patrick Show. That's when he introduced his now famous comparison between being the one who drives the bus and being the one who just rides along. At the time, it sounded like another bold Barkley comment. But he wasn't finished. The real backlash came in the 2022 playoffs, after the Brooklyn Nets were swept 4-0 by the Boston Celtics. That series was supposed to be Durant's chance to show he could win as the clear leader. Instead, the collapse gave Barkley the opening he needed. On inside the already heated rivalry.
I don't want to badmouth the dude, but I see you guys always talk about that championship stuff. I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around and talk about you a champion. If you riding the bus, I don't want to hear it. Come on, Shaq, tell them. All these guys walk around with these championship rings. Hey, y'all bus riders. But let me tell you something. When you the bus driver and you got all that pressure where you have to play well or you're going to get the blame, that's a difference.
But this is where Durant lost ground. Barkley joined the Houston Rockets at age 33, worn down, past his prime, and taking one last chance at a championship. Durant, on the other hand, was just 27 and playing the best basketball of his life when he chose to join the very team that had just beaten him. Barkley never won that ring, but Durant's move left a permanent mark on his reputation, especially among old-school fans. From that moment on, social media turned into Durant's daily battleground. And Barkley never backed off. In June 2022, Durant fired a shot on Twitter, calling Barkley a bitter hater who couldn't stand today's players making more money. Then in March 2023, he went even harder, saying Barkley's words would never earn his respect. The pattern was hard to miss. Durant wasn't really explaining his legacy or proving he had led a team on his own. Instead, he kept attacking Barkley personally, talking about money, attention, and disrespect. Meanwhile, Barkley's criticism grew more pointed. In August 2022, during an interview on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, he labeled Durant Mr. Miserable. And the comment stuck because it rang true. Durant had everything in Oklahoma City, held a 3-1 lead over Golden State, lost it, then joined that same team. He won 2 titles, moved on, and still seemed unhappy. Then came a March 2023 appearance on CBS 60 Minutes, where Barkley didn't hold back. He said Durant spent 2 weeks later, the Suns were swept in the first round. In 2025, they missed the playoffs entirely. Barkley's words suddenly felt prophetic. The final blow came in May 2025 during an Outkick appearance. Barkley laid it out simply. Oklahoma City lost in the finals. Brooklyn got swept. Phoenix got swept, then fell apart. The only championships Durant ever won came after joining a 73-win team that was already great without him. It was harsh, but hard to argue against.
Durant, he's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, man, was that a fair criticism?
This is where Shaquille O'Neal enters the conversation. Shaq understands true dominance better than almost anyone, and he's consistently supported Barkley's viewpoint using his own experience. Speaking on the Big Podcast, he put it bluntly. He said everyone saw Oklahoma City go up 3-1. One more win was all it took. When you're the main guy, the pressure falls on you. In Shaq's eyes, Barkley was right. Durant wasn't leading the Warriors, he was part of the ride. You can win that way, Shaq said, but it doesn't earn the same respect. And when that message comes from someone with 4 championship rings, it carries serious weight. 3 of Shaq's titles came when he was clearly the leader of the Lakers. He knows what it means to carry a team, and his point was simple: Durant didn't do that in Golden State. That criticism stings because it comes from someone who lived that role. Younger players see Durant differently. Tyrese Halliburton, representing the new generation in starting 5, praised KD as a legend and one of the greatest to ever play. He even said Durant deserves statues in both Oklahoma City and Golden State. To today's stars, Durant is a once-in-a-generation talent who changed the game. But for veterans like Barkley and Shaq, the story doesn't end with Golden State. In 2012, Durant led OKC to the finals alongside Russell Westbrook and James Harden, only to lose to LeBron's Heat. Durant was just 23, no shame in that loss. But 2016 is where the shadow over his legacy began. OKC held a 3-1 lead over the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, 1 win away from the finals. Instead, Durant and Westbrook collapsed. Game 6 was especially rough, and the series slipped away. Then Durant joined the very team that beat him. That moment is the wound Barkley keeps pointing to. Golden State signed Durant on July 7, 2016, adding the player they had just eliminated. Championships followed in 2017 and 2018, with Durant winning Finals MVP both years. Still, critics never forget that the Warriors had already won 73 games before he arrived. In 2019, Brooklyn signed Durant as he recovered from an Achilles injury. But success never came. Houston took a final chance on Durant at age 37, hoping this would be his last opportunity to prove he could truly lead a team. The record was hard to ignore. 1 finals appearance in OKC that ended in disappointment. No playoff success in Brooklyn. No playoff joining the team that beat him. That's why this debate still hurts. How can a man with no championships challenge a man with 2? Barkley's answer has always been simple. It's not about winning, it's about how you win. Barkley never claimed he was greater than Durant. He argued that if you want to stand among the all-time greats, your championships must be earned the hard way. Barkley was the leader everywhere he played. In Philadelphia, he was the franchise. In Phoenix, he won MVP and carried the team to the finals. In Houston, he joined late in his career to support, not to chase glory. He never called himself a champion. But he played without shortcuts, without jumping teams just to collect rings. And for many fans, that's why his voice still carries weight. Clip 6. Durant wants it both ways. He wants the championships he won with Golden State to define his greatness, but he also wants credit as someone who did it his own way. The problem is, you can't have both. Either 1,000-point mark, scoring 28 points in a 117-98 win over Phoenix. Through 19 games, he's averaging 25.3 points per night while shooting over 50% from the field. He's still elite. The Rockets are young, motivated, and loaded with potential. And this is Durant's last real chance to silence Barkley once and for all. But if this run fails, if Houston fades, if injuries strike again, or if the postseason ends in disappointment, then Barkley's case becomes impossible to argue against. Durant would retire as a player with 2 championships who never proved he could lead a team to the top on his own. That's what this whole debate comes down to. What does greatness actually mean? Is it winning at all costs, even if the road is smooth? Or is it choosing the harder path and earning respect through struggle and loyalty? For fans who grew up watching Jordan and Barkley, greatness meant grinding it out, staying put, taking losses, and never stacking the odds in your favor. For younger fans, it looks different. To them, building the best possible situation is part of the strategy. But what makes Barkley's argument hit hardest is this: Durant himself doesn't seem fully at peace with his legacy. If those Golden State rings truly meant everything, why did he leave? Why chase fresh starts in Brooklyn, then Phoenix, and now Houston? The answer feels obvious. He's been searching for something numbers can't provide: validation. For nearly a decade, Durant has tried to quiet the same criticism over and over. But did Barkley really expose him? Not really. To expose something means to reveal a secret. Barkley didn't uncover anything hidden. He simply said out loud what many people already believed but didn't want to say. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers basketball has ever seen. Over 31,000 points. 4 Olympic gold medals. A shot that works from anywhere on the floor. None of that is up for debate. But those 2 championships will always come with an asterisk because they were won after joining a 73-win team that had just beaten him. For years, Barkley's message never changed. If you want true greatness, you have to be the one driving the bus, not just riding along. Durant spent years avoiding that question. He talked about money, Barkley's ego, and how he played every role in Golden State, but he never answered the only thing that mattered. Was he leading the way, or was he just part of the ride? Everyone already knows the answer. Stephen Curry was the driver. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green helped build the foundation. Durant joined an already moving machine and took credit for where it went. Yes, Barkley finished his career without a championship, and Durant has too. But somehow, Barkley still won the argument. Every move Durant made after leaving Golden State only strengthened Barkley's case. Brooklyn fell apart. Phoenix collapsed. Now Houston is the final chapter. The irony is hard to ignore. If Durant had stayed in Oklahoma City and won just one championship there, even if it took years, it would have meant more than both titles in Golden State combined. That's what Barkley has been saying all along. And that's why his words still sting. Sometimes, the man without rings understands their value better than the man who has them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.